All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do the graphs for the FRQ portion of the Iodine Clock Lab. So on the Iodine Clock Lab, you'll notice that for the first part of part 1 and part 2, it's asking you to do a graph. So it says graph the data from part 1. Be sure to graph reaction rates and not time. Graph all 4 trials. You may only have 3. The graph needs to be titled. Make sure you label each axis and include units, add a trend line, and an equation. Okay, so here is my first part. And I've got Google Sheets open right here. So I'm going to go ahead and make columns. I'm going to make a column for concentration. And I'm going to make a column for reaction rate. And then I'm going to enter my data. All right, apologize for the cat meowing in the background. That's what happens when you record in the same room that he's chilling in. All right, so I've got my data entered. I'm going to go ahead and highlight everything. All right, I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger. I'm done with my data. I'm going to go ahead and highlight everything. I'm going to go up to the Insert menu, and then I'm going to go to Chart. Okay, so a couple things here. Sometimes this happens. Sometimes it'll flip the axes on you. So I want to have reaction rate on my x-axis, and I want concentration on my y-axis. So if it's not open already, go ahead and double-click on your chart. And under the chart editor setup, you want to go to x-axis. And if I click on that, I can change that to reaction rate. And then under the series, I'm going to change that to concentration. So that's our y-axis. Okay. Now, if you notice, it did not change my titles here. So on the y-axis, I want to change this to concentration. The units of concentration are molarity. And then down here on the x-axis, this is going to be reaction rate. And the units for reaction rate are seconds to the -1. All right, so done. And now I want the title. So it's going to be y-axis versus x-axis. So I need to flip this. So this is going to be concentration versus reaction rate. Oops. And then to center it, you can use this option right here. You don't need to center it, but I just want to jazz it up a little bit. If I wanted to change the color here, I could. You do you. Okay, so I've got my data entered. I've got my graph looking nice. I'm going to go ahead and double click on my graph. Okay, on the chart here, I believe it is under series. Yep, so customize series. All right, I want to insert a trend line. And then if you scroll down just a little bit further, you'll see an option to label the trend line. I want to go to use equation. Okay, and then this equation will pop up. So this is the equation for our trend line, and now you can use that equation to answer the question for number 2. The graph for part 2 is a little similar. So you're going to be graphing some different stuff, but it follows essentially the same process. So just repeat the process using your data from part 2.